I mean, these federal workers are everywhere. They're Pennsylvania, New York, North Carolina, Missouri, just representing the IRS there. So many of these federal workers are really across the country. I mean, 80%. CNN's Rafael Romo with me now to talk about specifically the CDC, a lot of notices going out there in Atlanta. What are you hearing from people who are finding out that their days are numbered on the job?
Yeah, it's been a very sad couple of weeks, Fred. And the employees that are being terminated are doing the one thing that they can, right? Speaking out. And there were dozens of current and former CDC employees at a rally held at the Georgia State Capitol. And many were holding signs with messages like CDC saves lives and CDC makes America great. Some told us they feared the first round of CDC layoffs announced earlier this month may just be the beginning and are deeply worried the layoffs will mean that an institution seen around the world as a leader in public health may ultimately be unable to fight the next pandemic.
This is a situation that's very scary for Americans and for America.
After 10 years of fighting diseases, both here in America and countries like Egypt, Pakistan, and South Sudan, Imad Hassan suddenly found his name was on a list of people getting fired.
While I'm all for efficiency, if we do things the right way, if we go through a RIF, but the sledgehammer approach or just creating a list, knowing that those lists could be wrong and not correcting those things, and then just firing people on a whim is unethical.
Hassan was one of hundreds of CDC employees who were notified earlier this month that they were being laid off. They have made their voices heard outside the CDC headquarters earlier this week and at the Georgia State Capitol on Friday.
Valentine's Day massacre.
Sonia Arundar, a health communicator who was hired by the CDC in December, was also among those impacted by the layoffs announced on February 14. Poor performance, she says, was the reason she was given.
I was so new that I didn't have a performance review yet, even though my manager seemed to be very pleased with my work. But I do know two people personally who did have good performance reviews who were also fired in the same way.
The man in charge of downsizing the government says voters gave President Donald Trump a mandate.
The people voted for major government reform, and that's what people are going to get.
Democratic lawmakers are asking Georgia's Republican leadership to intervene.
What we are asking them to do is put partisanship aside, put politics aside, and maybe even set their fears aside, and stand up and speak out for the Georgians that need their support right now.
Well, that doesn't seem likely right now. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp told Political the day after the CDC layoffs were announced that, in his opinion, quote, government can stand a little right-sizing. It's a policy that he has pursued during his years in office, wishing to limit the growth of the state government workforce. But again, many sad employees. And that lady, she hadn't even had a performance review. And her email said, you're getting let go because of performance issues.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, and that has been stated many times over. And some people who were in a probation period, not because they just started the job, but perhaps they were about to move on to a promotion. And so there's a probationary period in between that. They may have been with the federal government for 16, 20 years. We've heard from some people. All right, Rafael Romo, keep us posted. Thank you so much.